How much are your closing costs? Oh, if I had a dollar for every time that's been asked of me since 1992, I'd already be retired as a home lender. But I tell people when they ask me that question, closing cost is an umbrella. Why do I say that? Because that one word covers actually three different categories of fees that are required to get a home loan. Whenever you apply for a home loan, in the first 3 days, you will receive either electronically or by mail a 3-day disclosure or initial early disclosures. All three terms apply. They are the disclosures that help you understand what you're getting into with a loan. One of those is called the loan estimate. The loan estimate gives you an inflated amount of your closing costs, not the actual. They're inflated deliberately in order to help the lender not undercharge and have a fine with the federal government. Before you close, you will receive another document very similar called the closing disclosure, which will have the refined fees, the actual ones that you will pay. I tell my customers up front, when you get the loan estimate, you're going to have a heart attack because it's going to have fees that are inflated and you're going to think I lied to you and misled you and misrepresented. So remember, they're not your actual fees. They're worst case scenario. When you get the loan estimate, look it over, and if you have questions, that's when you call me. At the end, you'll get a closing disclosure that I'll go over with you again, and that will tell you the exact fees you'll pay, and that's when you will say, are you sure that's all I have to bring? Does that include the down payment? I've heard it many times. I'm used to it. That's why I've made this video. So when you look at the initial disclosures, you're going to get this loan estimate that looks a lot like the closing disclosure. Well, this is actually a closing disclosure, but in here they're labeled A through H. And in these labels, they give you Section A, which tells you what the lender's fees are, if any. Section B, the fees for the investors like Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, or private investors for appraisal, credit report, flood letter, tax service fee, all these basic fees that an investor wants to have to verify you and the loan and the home are safe. Section C is what your title company charges, and that's going to be up to, in Illinois, the seller, and some states it's up to the buyer. But the fees will vary greatly in this area, and that's why it's fees you can shop for. Then Section D summarizes all that. Section E is the other closing cost that's called prepaids. That's where the homeowner's insurance you pay for the first year up front is paid in full. You always pay that one full year in advance. So in 12 months later, we'll build back up the escrow to cover another 12 months, and it will always be paid one full year in advance ahead of time. But you'll also pay interest from the day you close to the end of that given month. So that amount can vary depending on your actual closing date. Then you get down into Section G, which covers what we call the escrows. Escrow is a non-interest bearing account where most people like FHA, VA, USDA, and most conventional loans will put money along with their house payment each month to put for taxes, homeowners insurance, and private mortgage insurance. These fees are then paid by your lender or servicer, and they will make sure that your taxes and insurance are covered each year. If there's a shortage, they will pay the difference and ask you to pay them back. There's no fees, there's no penalties. It's simply a non-interest bearing account that is drawn from to make sure to the investor that you have no tax liens and your insurance is not going to expire and your house burned down and no money to cover it. So this is the basics of what happens with a closing disclosure and a loan estimate. That is why you need someone like myself, a trained loan officer, to explain that to you. And so in this video, one of the things I want you to do was get a general idea. I send this out to all my customers so they will have an idea, understanding up front what's expected. So thank you for the opportunity to help you with this. Basically, if you have more questions, please feel free to call me because I'm here to be your loan officer and help you every way I can to understand this. My background is education. I love to explain things, and I want to make sure my borrowers fully understand what they're getting into when they start to buy a home and understand the umbrella closing costs. I'm Greg Bridgman. From O'Fallon, Missouri to O'Fallon, Illinois, and beyond, I would love to be your loan officer. Please give me an opportunity to serve you. Please subscribe to my channel, and please share this with others on Facebook and other media to help them understand as well.